Here we are. So I'm Stephen Carlson. This is Working from the Heart. And today we're going to work with the phrase, I don't want to work. So now we're talking about resistance. Resistance is one of the very basic building blocks of the separate self, of the sense of the individual, of the story of me. Resistance begins from our earliest childhood. You could even say from the terrible twos, because that's when a child learns to say that magic word, no. So I would even say that we begin to define ourselves as people in opposition to what is. And I see this very clearly with, a little family friend here. She's 6 years old, but is she 6? Anyway, but yeah, from a much earlier age, she began to say, I don't like fruit. And that just became her identity. She became the little girl that didn't like fruit. Until one day, I pointed out that the tomatoes that she loves are actually fruit. And you can see the dilemma. Because suddenly she realized that since she's the little girl that doesn't like fruit, then she can't have tomatoes anymore. Well, so resistance. Resistance gums up everything. Resistance is saying no to the world, to absolutely everything. And of course we say no to work. I don't want to go to work. In fact, I have a shift coming up today at the supermarket, and I can also feel the no coming up. It's a very, very natural part of who we think that we are. I don't want to work. I don't want to have to go to work. I don't want to have to do this. No. So, as you might guess, we're going to work on this with the Sedona method. So all you need to do is bring a willingness to examine what is. And just make sure that you're in a good place where you won't be disturbed. Pause this recording if you need to. And when you're ready, take a breath. Allow yourself to be, and allow things to settle, and allow all to be as it is, just for now. Very simple. Just think about what it is that you do for work, or what you're planning to do today that you would call work. And just notice the no. Allow the no. Feel the resistance. And if that isn't enough of a prompt, think of something that you've been putting off. Because for most of us, there's usually something. Think of what it is that you've been putting off that needs to be done. And just allow yourself to feel that resistance, the no, the pushing against, the I don't want to. Let that be here. Give that permission. Let there be resistance. Notice how resistance shows up. It might be very familiar. Check and see if there's any feeling going on down here in the body. Notice any kinds of thoughts that come up, any reactions, any stories. Just give it permission to be here. And then notice any sense that you don't like the feeling of this. Because resistance can also feel like a cramp. So notice any sense in which this is unpleasant, undesired, or any impulse to change this, make this different. Let go of it, figure it out. And then notice also that sense in which this is you. This is your story. This is identity. And allow that too. And when you're ready, could you let that go? Would you let that go? When? So, take a breath, and then when you're ready, let's take one more pass through this. Allow yourself to think of something that you don't want to do, anything you're resisting, anything that feels like work that you don't want to do. And allow yourself to feel this. Turn towards this. Open inside. And notice how this appears. Again, notice how the body reacts to this and how the mind reacts. Notice any thoughts, stories, images. And notice any kind of discomfort, pressure, any sensation in the body. So, let's go back and forth a little bit just to loosen this up. Notice the sense of resistance. I don't want to do this. And notice also that sense of wanting to change, the feeling of resistance. And then, again, resistance towards a task, a job, an errand, something you've been putting off. And then, wanting it to be different. Wanting to let go of resistance, wanting to overcome resistance, wanting to transcend. Notice any resistance to resistance. Now actually, here's the funny part. There might even be resistance to resistance to resistance. It tends to build into a chain. So just notice all the resistance that you can at the moment. And when you're ready, check and see, is any of this actually you? This is an important question to ask because so often we feel like we are our emotions. I am angry. Well, really? So are you resistance, or are you aware of thoughts of resistance, sensations connected to resistance? Are you connected to, are you aware of feelings passing through awareness? And could you just allow yourself to be aware, to be that awareness, to rest as awareness? And notice how the feelings shift. Notice the difference when you allow yourself to rest as awareness and allow sensations and thoughts, perceptions, feelings to be as they are. Just notice the shift, notice the difference. And take a breath, and again, just allow all of this to be as it is. Notice, do you really need to engage thoughts, or can they just come and go as they please? Notice any sensations in the body. Are those really what you think? Are those really connected to the phenomena of resistance? Or is it possible this is just energy passing through awareness? So, again, let's start from the beginning and welcome any resistance you have to a task, anything that you've been avoiding, anywhere that you're saying no to work. And check and see if maybe this has shifted slightly even during the time that we've been working together. Just check. And then, when you're ready, this time could you just look through resistance and notice how transparent it really is. Notice the spaciousness and ease that lie beyond all sensations, all thoughts, all feelings, all perceptions, all memories. So allow yourself to rest as that ease, that openness, that spaciousness. And here's a final twist. What if, in fact, so follow me if you will, this resistance, this feeling of resistance, isn't this actually trying to help, save, rescue? Isn't this trying to do something positive? Notice that. The effect might not be positive, but isn't that the intention somehow? That you shouldn't have to suffer if work is suffering. Then resistance will be the solution, right? So is it possible that even resistance is a manifestation or expression of love, wearing a kind of mask? So there's one final exercise here in the remaining minute or two. Could you just love resistance? Could you just allow yourself to feel love for resistance, through resistance? This might be a stretch, but just as best you can, could you allow yourself to love resistance? And notice what we're doing here. Most of the time, we do battle with resistance. There's something to do, there's resistance toward it, but you push, you push, you push. Now we're doing something different. We're turning toward that resistance and embracing it with love. Did fighting it have any good effect? What would happen if you were just to love the resistance? So just allow yourself to sit for a moment and just embrace resistance. Love it. Thank it. Welcome it. Just as best you can. Only as best you can. And only just for now. And just allow yourself to rest as love, loving resistance. So that feels like a good place to stop for now. You can always go back and listen to this again to get more out of it. And if you want to take this to the next level, I invite you to check out the link in the description. Working from the Heart is an online course that teaches you to live from love, from the heart. So that's it for now. I'm Stephen Carlson. Bye for now.